So I got the first layer of oils going on this canvas. I love oils. It's such a different look than acrylics. It feels different. And I love layering it up too. And right now, this is like, it's awesome. And I could just kind of leave it as it is and keep going with that style, but I really want, I'm not sure I want these hard edges on the rainbow or with her. I kind of want to make it more, I don't know, more movement in the color, working into other colors, more artsy in that way, a different style. I've been doing kind of this defined style for so long that it just comes naturally, but I really kind of want to break free of that and explore new styles. How I know when I like it is that it feels a certain way. And it's not, this doesn't feel the way I want it to feel yet. Even though it's amazing, I think it's amazing, I want it to feel like that feels, you know. Even this, I'll work a lot on this with glazes and whatnot, but this is all about letting go of chains, which are like thoughts, can be thoughts, or sabotaging patterns. Choosing to let go of the chains and then turning into and tuning into transformation and light and love. Thank you, chains, for teaching me the lesson I needed to learn. But this feels so good right here. So I'm going to start with some of these yellows right here and see if I can break up these lines with just dabs of yellow. It almost looks like it's going into the clouds, huh? You can keep going with that. And if I take it into the yellow, to the orange and the red, I can glaze the orange and red back over that. So I have to decide like what kind of texture, what kind of shape feels the way I want it to feel. And since the first layer is dry, I can wipe all of that off without affecting what was under it if I want to. Or I could just, instead of a hard line, I could just blur the line like that. have to decide, do I want her hair? How do I want her hair? Because I don't think I like her hair long like that. So what if I bring this shoulder back in? You have to make some bold moves sometimes. Like if you're too afraid to like make big changes, then you kind of are stuck with the first thing you lay down on the canvas, unless you pre-plan out your whole painting. Some people do that. But I like to explore on canvas, so I'm like, well, I can bring her hair back in tomorrow if I want. But since I'm like not feeling it with the long hair, maybe I can change it to like back to short hair or wavy hair or something. I haven't decided yet. Sometimes I'll have visions and see it and then paint it, and other times, like right now, I'm like, I'm not so sure. Oh, I could also, let's see, break up these butterflies so they're not harsh edges either. And you know, this doesn't look perfect right now, but that's like the beauty of layers, is that there's a lot of, I can play with it through the layers. So it doesn't have to look exactly perfect when I lay it down, but what I'm doing is I'm getting the ideas to come through, and then it takes work and skill to like work with it. And sometimes I'm building skill through every painting I do. I'm learning and building skill and getting better and better and better. Hopefully, that's my intention anyways. But see, even that, I'm defining the lines, and I don't want to define lines. I want them to move into each other. So how can I get out of this almost like locked place of definement? I want the lines the colors to move into each other. You know, and as I do that, I'm actually exploring style too, because maybe I'll like it and I'll start doing it in a lot of my paintings. And once I get this style down that I love, you know, that's what I'm going for, is the way it makes me feel, that I fall in love with it. Then people will start to know my work, and it'll hold that frequency of joy that I feel as I paint it. Maybe I'll have her have short hair or something more wavy, more movement that I'm trying to create. I kind of like the idea of her having this orange hair that's like matches the butterflies, you know. And I love putting this purple and orange next to each other because it really reminds me of New Mexico, which I think I've been calling in for a while now in my heart, because I really like it here. And sometimes we don't need to have all the line work, you know, perfect. Sometimes it's our eyes complete lines, which is pretty cool, because you can, if you know that and you're going for that, you can do some really cool things. So I like this, you know, seeing the paint brush stroke. I want it to be more artsy in that way where not everything's so smooth, but it's more like colors, movement in the color. What's the vision I'm having? And that's already feeling different and better to me than before. I mean, I don't know if I'll keep that either. Maybe I'll keep changing it. I don't know. See if I can get some movement on the butterfly too. With different, not so defined lines, but it's kind of hard. Maybe I need to like blur the edges so it looks kind of less in focus. That's how you play with distance. There's different ways to play with different distance. And one is to not, you know, to blur it, and the other one is that light works a certain way with distance. Like a lot of the time, stuff in the distance will have this more bluer. If you look at nature, it'll be more faded and blue, whereas things close up are different. Well, and it's important to pay attention to the way the light works, because everything right here would mostly be a silhouette with this light coming through from behind, backlighting, unless she was actually lit by another source, which is possible. As a photographer, I've lit a lot of scenes this way, where I have, you know, the light reflecting back at her. But we could, you know, my photography skills over 20 years helps me with stuff like this, because I know lighting from that and the way it works, because I've studied it. I haven't necessarily brought that into my artwork as much as I could, my photography skills. But I did start out with a shoot, from a photo shoot with this, and I have a lot of passion for photography and art, and it's fun to do it together, for sure. My easel's moving around. There we go. All right, so to create that movement, colors into each other, I could start doing that here. Kind of break up the defined parts and put splashes of color. Knowing that I can undo it in a way, or the whole painting just moves and changes with it, but I can totally bring it back to where it was before if I want to. But I really like this. I like using the brushwork and the paint strokes and the raking up of color to create more painted, artsy feeling. Because I did photography for so long, it's like perfection. You know, if I wanted it perfect, like a photograph, I'd just take a picture. But I'm in love with Me personally, I'm in love with creative flow of more like this. I'm digging this. And sometimes I might see, you know, like your eyes start completing things. And we might see everything take or where the painting might start speaking to you, put it this way, in a way that's like it shows you what it wants next. So if you learn to be really quiet and listen, and then, you know, like don't be afraid to make bold moves, you know, especially exploring. If you're afraid that you're just gonna ruin it, it's also a way you could be living life.